when I was 16, I have a chance to meet peaceful member who had some activities in my hometown, Da Nang. So they showed me origami, they taught me Japanese song, and we danced together with some Japanese traditional dance. So it was exciting experience for me. And later, when I was university, I joined some volunteer activity with Junko Association, who help the poor children in my hometown to continue their education. So for me, my interest to Japan were inspired by Japanese people and Japanese culture. The Japanese people are very friendly, and the Japanese culture is so fascinating for me. I love being here, and for me, Japan is a very comfortable country to live in. But what made me really shocked about Japan is the service quality of the public sector. I remember when there was a time I had to get some document from the city hall, and I didn't have time to rush for that. And I was advised by my colleague that you can get it during the lunchtime, and I didn't believe it. How come? But I decided to go there during my lunchtime to see whether it's true or not, and they were there. They worked very professionally and diligently, so they helped me to get all my papers I need, and without any hesitation. So in terms of the quality of the service in Japan, I can say that I really get shocked, because of course in a good meaning, you could never expect this thing happen in Vietnam, and I think in some country in Asia. I think what I have seen during my job is the flexibility when doing business between Japanese company and Vietnamese company is totally different. The Japanese company, they tend to apply, I mean that before they start a business, they have to research the market, identify everything like the country risk, whether the people, the human resource in that country, everything. But that takes time. I know that the decision making, but sometimes it's too slow. You know, so Vietnamese company, sometimes they lose their patience to wait for the Japanese company to make decision, and it's very difficult if you are in the position that you have to explain to the Japanese company and the Vietnamese company what's going on, because you know the business faced between two countries different. So in Vietnamese company, the boss can make decision at a meeting, and he asks his subordinate to go ahead. But in Japanese company, you have a lot of meetings without nothing, you know, like no decision is made. So sometimes the Japanese company decided to not say anything in front of the partner because they don't want to hurt the partner. But this thing can be interpreted in another way, that people think the Japanese company may be interested in their product. Also, the Vietnamese company mostly are not good at following up with communication. I mean that when they have a project, the Japanese company kind of keen on, you know, of what's going on there. So they keep on asking what happened. But the Vietnamese company, they don't think the same way. They think that if nothing progressed, I don't need to update you. I don't need to report to you. So I think the Vietnamese company, they should improve their communication in terms using more email frequently. Sometimes you send an email and then without feedback for 2 or 3 days, or even 1 month, So I think this should be something to improve this way of communication between the Japanese company and the Vietnamese company. Otherwise, it's hard to make business together. I think the communication problem happened due to the language and the way of the communication. For the language, I think there should be a language, the official language to be used in the office, either English, Japanese, or Vietnamese. If your company there is not so many person who can speak Japanese, then you can use English as the official language, and make sure that everybody can communicate easily with that language. Also, the Vietnamese people, they have 2 ways to communicate. One is verbal and the other is non-verbal. So for non-verbal communication, it's kind of important way for Vietnamese person to express their feeling. So the Japanese manager also have to know about that. Sometimes they don't say yes or they don't say no. They just nod the head or they shake their head. But for Japanese people, they cannot read it. So in this case, you have to confirm verbally, like, do you understand what I say or something? The other thing is, like, many Japanese companies, they feel like, why Vietnamese people cannot say sorry? Because it's come from the culture. We don't say sorry so often like Japanese people. But instead of that, we show our, regret feeling. Like, sometimes they just drop their hand or they just do like this. It means they feel sorry for that. And also what I have seen when I do consulting for Japanese company to invest in Vietnam is many Japanese company, especially small and medium business company, they tend to rely only 1 or 2 local staff who can speak Japanese. The reason, because they think that this kind of communication is effective because the Japanese manager can speak Japanese, right? But I think they should build a team-based communication, because you just communicate through one staff. This can make a burden for that staff. Also, you cannot get the right feedback from the person who received your information or who had to receive your instruction. So make sure that the proper communication way to be used in order for the information to be conveyed to the right recipients.